And good evening. No, good afternoon. Good afternoon, you beautiful people. It is just 1 minute past 4 p.m. on Thursday, the 23rd of January, 2025. Thank you so much if you are tuning in live. If you watch on the replay, please stick around, leave us some comments. We'd really love to see what you think of the conversation we're going to have today. If you do not know me, my name is Ross. This is producer Petch. Together we run Act On This.tv. If you're an actor and you want to work more in TV, you want to actually earn money from your career, you really want to understand how the business of the business works, and you want to learn that from the biggest casting directors, agents, actors, writers, directors, and producers in TV every single week in, week out. Get yourself over to actonthis.tv, get a membership, come and join us. We've got some incredible calls coming up. But we've got loads to discuss today. With everybody just on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, drop us a comment. We can bring the comments up, can't we, Petch? If you're on Instagram, we'll give you a shout out in a minute. You might want to come over to youtube.com/actonthistv. I think we're going out on LinkedIn. We're going out on X as well. So we'll try and bring out as many comments as we can. But yeah, if you want to have us bring your comments up and you want to really get involved in the chat, youtube.com/actonthistv. How are you, Petch? We're a week away from you being 40 years old, mate. Are you having a breakdown or what?
I was better until you said that, to be fair.
Mate, I'm 42. It's fine. Give us some advice. If you could go back and give some advice to your 40-year-old self, those people who are above 40. Not that that's old. I say I'm 42. Let us know, because, yeah, Petch will be the big 4-0. What is it, week tomorrow?
It's coming up. It's coming up.
I think it's great, man. It's great.
About it.
I don't know why people are upset about getting older. It's a privilege, isn't it? We've discussed this before. A lot of people don't get to 40, so shout out to those who have.
You know what? The age things is one thing, and I am going through a bit of a midlife crisis, and that's
okay.
Yeah. The other thing is I just don't celebrate my birthday anyway. I don't see the point. I did nothing.
That's a bit bar humbug. Yeah, I celebrate other people. Yeah, I celebrate other people's birthdays actually more than my own. To be fair, sometimes I get a little bit like, don't make a fuss over me. It's fine. It's all right. It's only me. But maybe for the big ones, we should be a bit more open to.
I just came out. You know what I mean? My mum did all the work, and the doctors. I mean, my mum had a C-section, so the doctors and the nurses, they did all the work. Celebrate them.
But you came out into the world. You were born, and it was it's to be celebrated, Petch. Right. So what we're gonna discuss, and this actually ties in a little bit to what you're talking about there, because this might be a mindset thing as well. We want to discuss today mindset and 5 toxic mindset traps that we see holding actors back, and how to break free from them. And we'll give people a bit of context about why we wanted to do this stream today, Petch. We ran something last week. It was for free. It was a really great thing if people got involved in it, called the Act On This Acting Career Accelerator, version 3. It's the third version of the program, and 5-day challenge. And across 5 days, we basically gave actors, for nothing, 10 hours of coaching. We gave you access to 5 of our previous features with some top casting directors, some top agents, some top directors, and some top actors. You got access to a different feature every single day, and we gave you some task questions to answer inside a Facebook group. And it was buzzing. We had a couple of 100 actors in there, and I'm so grateful for everyone that got involved, because everyone did get involved, really gave it their all, didn't they? People were sitting down every day watching a 2-hour session, jumping at the Facebook group, answering questions. But one of those days was on mindset. We put a feature out with Kelly Valentine Hendry, the casting director for Bridgerton and Netflix's Rivals, which is going again, by the way. Very excited about that. And one of those days, was all about mindset, and really just seeing where people were at when it came to believing in their potential. You know, how they were dealing with their psychology, their resilience, their mental toughness, how they were when it came to anxiety, audition nerves, putting themselves out on the internet, promoting their work, sending their show reel out, reaching out to casting directors, ultimately kind of like showing up every day in the world, and how they were with that, whether they were procrastinating a lot. And the feedback was pretty phenomenal in terms of a lot of people were really honest, weren't they? In fact, dead vulnerable, open and honest. Mm-hmm. And the overriding kind of theme that came back that day is like, oh my God, actually, you know what? I'm really not confident enough. I'm not confident in myself. I don't feel I'm enough in certain areas. I don't feel I'm talented enough. I don't look the right way. Maybe I don't have enough experience. A big one was people like too late syndrome. Maybe I've left it too late. Maybe I've come to the industry a little bit too old. And these are all just like limiting beliefs that are just often based on nothing. They're not based on facts. They're holding actors back. Actors are getting in their own way. And we just want to sort of discuss 5 of the most common ones today that really if you've not got a hold of, will erode that confidence you've got. Because confidence is like a big word. It's like an umbrella that spans so many, smaller areas that ultimately can chip away at that confidence. You can't just go, do this and you'll be confident. There's many things that you can do to build up slowly but surely real authentic confidence in this industry. So first of all, if you are
till you make it, then
no, it's definitely not about that. We never promote that. It's the worst advice you could ever give anyone is fake it till you make it. Because if you know anything is fake, you're never going to be confident. You go, just fake confidence. That's just bad advice. There are ways to cultivate authentic, true confidence while still feeling the pressure of a high pressure environment. It doesn't mean that you're going to go in invincible. You can acknowledge that this is high pressure, that you are nervous, and that's absolutely fine. But there are ways of dealing with that energy, that nervous energy, in a far more positive way than pushing it down, suppress it, and go, no, fake it, fake it, fake it. I prefer to, teach people how to use it, and channel it into something positive in those environments. So first of all, if people are here live, hopefully we've got some people tuning in live. Just let us know if you resonate with that. Do you personally, if you're going to be honest and vulnerable enough, we'll be grateful for it. What do you struggle with the most? Are you, struggling with confidence right now? Do you find anxiety either in your acting career or just in your general life is affecting you? And when it comes to procrastination, this is a big one. Do you allow, kind of procrastination to dress itself up in other ways in your life where you'll justify it as its practicality or its preparation? I'll reach out to casting directors when I get this new scene back that I did with some students in a film this week, but that scene's not going to be back for 6 months. And there's so many other things you could do within 6 months to film stuff yourself or get a hold of other footage to send to people in this industry and promote your work. So confidence, anxiety, and procrastination.
Who is crushing their confidence right now is Lifon. Lifon has said, hello, everyone. Hope you all keeping well. Had a great start to 2025. First audition of 2025 last week for a film and booked the role today.
Boom.
Followed by passing my driving test yesterday.
Oh, bloody hell. And when we use the word crushing, we don't mean it in a negative way. Because when you said someone's crushing their confidence, we mean that as in go and crush it, go and smash it. So Lifon, shout out to you, congrats. On two wins.
Violent, isn't it? Like all these words that are really
crush
good.
It, smash it, nail it. We use all these violent words all the time. So also I'm just going to go over to Instagram very, very quick to give some people a shout out.
On Instagram, Kit Baines has said yes because I'm a disabled actor and there isn't many disabled roles out there.
I'm visually impaired, Kit. We can talk about that. Definitely. I'm part of something called the Disabled Artist Networking Community. This is super empowering for anyone living with any kind of disability. Check that out. The acronym for it, it's not the best sounding acronym at all. It's called DANK, which it's just a terrible acronym. It makes me think of something like dark and slightly sort of like dreary, doesn't it? Like a dank environment. But no, DANC. Disabled Artist Networking Community. It's run by great actress Melissa Johns, Shirley Houston, an awesome team there. There is so much more work available for disabled artists in this industry, and a lot more doors are opening for bringing disabled artists into shows that are nothing to do with disability. So we can touch on that later. But I get it how that would knock your confidence. It does me if I go into new environments and my eyes aren't great. I used to, before I really understood this industry a lot, try to hide it as much as I could. When people ask me, can you drive in this scene? I was like, I just make excuses up, Petch, of how I'd never learned I'm just really lazy. I don't know why. I didn't want to say, actually, you know what? Put me in a car, I would just crash it straight away. But let's have a look. Tom's on Instagram. Claire's in the house as well. London Calling, thanks for being here. Dominic, how you doing? Naz, Anna, Catherine. Cheeky London lad, shout out to you as well. Steph Richards, I'm probably missing loads of people. Peter, Sandra, I can see.
Sandra has said, I'm more nervous for real life conversations, including talking to casting directors, than when I'm about to go on stage. But I'm continually working on it and getting a lot better already.
Yeah, it is. It's a forever game. Everything we're going to touch on today, mindset, psychology, is a real forever game. It's like working out and you're getting your physical health right. We go to the gym every day, even though it's hell walking down to the gym at 6 in the morning in the dark and the cold right now. But I feel so much better for having done it. And you can't just do it on a Monday and expect to feel great and your body to feel tight and in good shape on a Friday if you're only going on a Monday. And your mindset's exactly the same. So get your mental health up there. You've got to work on it and put the reps in. every single day. So let's get stuck in. That's what people are here for. So I've got 5 things basically that we're going to uncover that I class as toxic mindset traps. Sounds quite dramatic, but these can really sabotage your acting career. And we're going to give you some practical ways to break free of these as well. Like I say, it's not an instant fix at all, but just some things to be aware of moving forwards. And also what I'll say at the start of here as well is we're going to dive real deep into this in just a week's time. We're going to do a free training on this with a friend of ours, high performance mindset coach, Mr. Matt Hall, who is also a world record breaker. He does this for a living. He helps people really fulfill their potential, get hold of their mindset, and really, cultivate like a true, authentic confidence to take on life and the acting industry and win if you're an actor. If you go to actonthis.tv/mindset, you can actually get a free place on that. It's going to be about a 90-minute training, Saturday morning, the 1st of Feb. So not this Saturday coming up if you're here live, but next Saturday, actonthis.tv/mindset. I've literally just put this page out now, Petch, so I'm going to make sure it does work. It's this one, folks.
Works.
Did you test it?
I did.
Oh, excellent. I sent Petch a voice note on WhatsApp just before we went. I went, Petch, will you go and test that? Make sure it works. Yeah, Saturday, 1st of Feb. 2025, 10 a.m. in the morning, 11:30 a.m. Free training, master your mindset and cultivate true confidence to take on the acting industry and win. We're just going to be able to dive deeper in that session than we're going to be able to dive into today. But we will still do a full hour here. actonthis.tv/mindset. So first thing I've got here, Petch, and you can corroborate with me on this and you can tell me whether you agree or not, because you were the community manager in that challenge that we had last week. You saw all of the answers coming through on Facebook, things people were struggling with on mindset. First thing, and it's massive, I think not just for actors, but human beings, and that is an over-attachment to results. And what I mean by this, is, Petch, defining your worth basically solely on job bookings, recalls, or even what I'm seeing and what I saw in that challenge there is praise as well. So there were some people, and people do this on social media a lot. You might finally get the guts to put something out, and you don't get a ton of likes on it, a ton of retweets, a ton of comments. It might be the first thing that you put out, and because it's the first thing you put out, the algorithms on social media just are not looking for your content because you've got no track record. So they'll only show it to a few people. And if those people are busy and they don't like it or something, that could be enough for people to go, hang on a minute, I was over-attached to the result. I didn't get 1 million likes, like Kim Kardashian did on her last post. So I must be shit. I must be rubbish. So I'm never going to post again.
I saw something about this recently. It must have been this week. It's been making the rounds on social media, ironically.
All right.
And it's like, how weird is it? I'm completely paraphrasing here. It's like, how ironic is it that social media has warped my definition of praise? I can be upset over 20 likes on a post. But if 20 people came up to me in real life and liked what I did, I would be absolutely buzzing.
Yeah. Honestly, it really can twist the whole thing. You put a post out, and you go, oh, that one. We put loads of posts out for Act On This all the time. We're putting content out, clips from all of our weekly Zoom sessions. The casting directors we get on and the agents and stuff. And we create content that we think is going to have impact. And some of the things you think will have the most impact have the least. And some of the things you think will have the least impact end up having the most. We put a meme out once that had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of likes. Petch made it in about 2 minutes. It was when the Olympics were on and that woman was dancing in the Olympics, and we put her into the Rover's Return on Coronation Street, the break dancer, and said, when you lie on your spotlight CV, but get the job anyway. And it had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of likes and shares and all that sort of stuff. And yet we can spend probably 45 minutes editing a 45-second clip of one of our, calls. We think it's got some banging advice in there from a top casting director, 8 likes. However, had 8 people came up to us, you're right, in real life and said, oh my God, I watched that clip that you put out. That was amazing. That was really, really good. It really helped me. And from that, I acted on some of the advice within it, and it's helped me land an agent or an audition, or it's made me feel more confident or whatever. You'd be buzzing off it. But yeah, praise is something that I think, that people have an over attachment on the results of that thing. So it's being aware of this sort of stuff and put it into perspective. And when it comes to an over attachment of results in auditions and things like that, you can be up for a role, and if you don't get it, again, you you kind of like catastrophize, don't you? You go to the worst place. Oh, I didn't get it because I must have been rubbish. I knew I should have shot it different. I knew that line wasn't right or whatever. It could be none of those things whatsoever. You're in the mix for a role on Hollyoaks at the moment. And like, is that in the back of your head? Are you thinking, oh my God, if I don't get it, I'm shit? I mean, you know better, so you're not going to be like that. But you could easily think that, couldn't you? If you're not
I'll be honest, I forgot about it until you reminded me. Why'd you keep reminding me of things?
Just reminded him he's 40.
I like to...
Reminded him he's up for a role. No, but it's good. But it's about control. So the solution to this over-attachment is about controlling the controllables, right? And that is your preparation for stuff. You can control that. That's being aware of your mindset and where you might fall over. This getting attached to praise, getting attached to the outcome. But the other thing you control ultimately every time is the effort that you bring to every opportunity. And you can, if I was you, Petch, I would be happy with any outcome that I get from this because you focused on your outputs. You know, you found out you'd seen this brief go out. You sent your own email to casting. You backed that email up with great evidence that you could do this role. You know, you sent relevant material that was very conducive with the role that you'd been put up for. It's no coincidence you get a self-tape for that. You do a great job with the self-tape. I was uncomfortable watching that tape before I even pressed play. I won't go into what it was. But uncomfortable in a good way, as in from a viewer. It very much suited that character. So you dressed appropriately, you'd shot it well, it sounded good. Emma was reading in good. Like, you've controlled all of the controllables you could have controlled. If you don't get that job now, it just wasn't supposed to happen. Like, it's nothing that you could do. So you can't get hung up on the attachment. Had you not put in the prep, not given a shit about it, not really, giving it your all and brought that effort to that opportunity, then you could feel bad about it because then it'd be a wasted opportunity. But as long as you can go to bed going, yeah, you know what, I gave that everything and it works out or it doesn't work out, that's okay. So it's about practicing detaching from outcomes and enjoying the process as well. Was it enjoyable doing it? Did you have fun doing it or was it stressful?
It wasn't stressful at all. It's funny, isn't it, when you get an audition and you're busy without doing acting work, because we've been really busy recently with the accelerator course, and I've been playing catch up on a load of things. So it wasn't stressful the fact that I had to do the audition. It was I'm trying to be more mindful now with how I position things in my own brain. It's like all we do as actors is we want that audition, and then when it comes at an inconvenient time you're like, oh God, I really could do without this now. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, my agent put me forward for that, which was absolutely brilliant. Together, we devised a plan to like back up her submission, which you said there. We sent an email backed up with evidence. So, I did all that myself, and I've got to go, do you know what? I wanted this. And if this is the career that I want, there's never going to be a perfect time. An audition isn't just going to land at a time when you're just like, I could do an audition right now. You're going to have to move things about. So I guess that part of it was not stressful. It was just, I'm just trying to think of a better word for it. It was just a challenge, but one that I relished. It was like, right, when can I find time to do this? Any other time, again, like you were saying there, like going to the gym first thing in the morning, that's been one of my New Year's resolutions this year. I mean, a goal. It's been a goal, realistically. Getting up at 6 o'clock, going to the gym, making sure I've got my workout in, making sure I've done my 10,000 steps before I even sit down for work. So if I hadn't have done that, I'd have had all that to worry about as well. So it's completely controlling all the controllables and just being happy with what the outcome may be.
Yeah. And you shot that tape in between us working all day on Act On This and before we went live on a call. So you had like an hour and a half window, and you went, right, there's this is my opportunity. Let's go. You didn't sit there procrastinating, which we'll look at in a minute. Thinking, I'll do it when the time's perfect. There is no kind of perfect time. It's just controlling the controllables as much as you can, and then being okay with the outcome because you've controlled your output. So hopefully that kind of makes sense to me. But I think everyone will relate to that. It's one of the biggest things that I've seen actors struggle with. Really, it's one of the biggest things I've seen actors struggle with over the last 15 years, because everybody gets so caught up on that result, and they can either be on cloud 9 if they get the result they want, or really, really down in the dirt if they don't get it, and then they start beating themselves up. That was the one opportunity I had to change my life. That could have been my mortgage payments for 6 months. Now my agent's going to drop me. That casting director will never see me again. It's not true. Like, you've just got to kind of just focus on your output and not get attached to the outcome.
The other thing I wanted to add on that really quickly is, and I think it really fits well in this, is making making your opinion of yourself better than that of everybody else's combined.
So making an opinion of yourself matter more to you than the opinion of everybody else's combined. Yeah.
So me doing that tape and me watching that back and me going, I did everything for that tape. We're actors. We're never 100% happy with our performances, are we? We're always striving for perfection. Perfection is a myth. But for me to sit back and go, I did everything within my power and I am happy with that, regardless of the outcome, it doesn't matter because I know I did good work. I send it to you because I value your opinion. You tell me you've done good work. Emma was there recording it with me. She tells me I've done good work. My agent watched it before she sent it off. She's told me I've done good work. So if those people who matter most to me can turn around to me and go, that's good. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. But above all that, I have to go, I have done good work. And it comes back down to those likes and the posts that you put out on social media. If you're happy with what you're putting out there, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Yeah, just keep putting it out. Because it will resonate with somebody down the line. But, you're going to get haters. The whole acting industry is so subjective as it is. You're not going to please everybody all the time. It's impossible to please everybody all the time. The only person you can please is yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just social media in general. There are also, you got to realize, folks, that people, we've said this so many times, but people leaving negative comments on stuff like just aren't in a good place and are just not very happy. And there are a lot of unhappy people in creative pursuits because they are hard. It's difficult to become successful because you've got to really, really put the work in, put the effort in. And there's a lot of people who aren't doing that, and rather than do that, they would prefer to tear other people down because it makes them feel better about themselves. So so yeah, just don't worry about the praise that you're getting or the amount of Facebook likes you're getting or how many likes someone else has got on their show reel compared to you and all this sort of stuff. Focus and control the controllables. Number 2, we just mentioned it a second ago. Second, toxic. Using that word because it's clickbaity in it. Everything's bloody toxic these days. These are just traps, basically. But I'm going to label them as toxic because it seems to get clicks. The second toxic mindset trap I want to talk about is what I just mentioned, procrastination. And it's procrastination very often disguised as 2 things, practicality or preparation. And what I mean by that is we get a lot of members of our community and a lot of actors that we speak to who have the best intentions of putting themselves out, either online via social media, to put themselves out there to maybe get likes or not. But other than that, it could be writing to casting directors. It could be reaching out to anybody on LinkedIn. I don't know. It doesn't have to be a casting director. It could be a writer, a director. It could be a camera person because you're thinking of shooting your own stuff or whatever. And they want to reach out and they're convincing themselves that, this is definitely what they're going to do. But they come up with a really practical, sensible reason about why now isn't the right time. And it sounds really good. It's like, but if I just wait, I've got this thing coming out in 3 months, so I can just get hold of that, and then that might make this, the outreach more effective. And it's really just fear. It's fear and, just making people procrastinate, but it's disguising itself as you're getting prepared, you're getting ready, or that, it's practical. It's kind of like, well, now isn't the right time. Oh, you know what? Like you said there, it wasn't the perfect time for you to get an audition and film it. At all. You could have go, it's just not the right time for me to get an audition now, so I won't reach out to casting like you did. You reached out, you got an audition. So it's being aware of when you're doing this, basically, when you're spending too much time planning or studying. A lot of people get addicted to courses. I see people collect courses, acting classes, workshops. I'll reach out when I've done this, when I've done that. I'm going to go to my acting class a few more times, then I'll be ready. It's like you're probably ready now. You're not spending enough time taking action, and it just leads to kind of like stagnation and missed opportunities. I see that a lot. And the solution to this, the only solution I find to this, procrastination really is it's setting deadlines for yourself a lot of the time. Scheduling stuff in, like you probably have to schedule that self-tape in that day. Emma, are you going to be free between 5 and 6:30? Because that's when I finish work and before we could jump on the call. I'm going to schedule it in. You know, it's making sure that you've got stuff in your calendar, in your diary. Those people have just signed up for that workshop, that free training next Saturday, actonthis.tv/mindset, if you want to get a place. In the email confirmation you get from me, there'll be some calendar links in there for whatever calendar you use, whether you use iCal for your Mac, you know, your Apple calendar, or whether you use your Gmail calendar or whatever. Click on one of those links and it'll schedule it automatically for you in your calendar. It'll even set a reminder for 30 minutes before we actually go live on that Zoom. If you do not schedule that thing and set a deadline, chances are you're not going to turn up because you're going to forget about it. It's going to be like, oh, I would have joined that Zoom, you know, that free training on Get My Mindset Right. But, you know, there's this practical reason about why I can't go. Whereas if you schedule it, you put it in there, you set a deadline, you've got such a higher chance of being there, you know, and it just reminds you to take that action as opposed to more endless preparation. Because endless preparation, how prepared do you want to be? Yeah, but you can't be, like you said before, you can't be perfect. You're still, even as prepared as you think you are, you're still going to mess up sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely inevitable. What have you procrastinated on, Petch? Because procrastinated on because you said this year you wanted to change your routine for the gym. You used to work out in the evenings. I was working out in the mornings. Yeah, it's much harder, but I like the fact that, like you said, by, I don't know, 8:30, I don't get my full 10,000 steps into the gym and back and doing some walking and stuff at the gym. I might get 7,000 steps in, but that's broken the back on the 10K steps a day. And I just I can't procrastinate at that time in the morning. I've got to fling my legs out of bed, walk down. Otherwise, Jay, the guy I work out with, is going to kick off because I'm late. That's another thing as well. Accountability buddies will really stop you from procrastinating. Tell people what you're going to do, set a deadline on it, schedule it, and then make sure someone's holding you accountable.
Don't tell everyone though. Just tell people that you can trust.
Yeah,
I find if you let everybody know, everyone's got an opinion on that. Just people that you can trust.
Yeah, just one person will be enough. But you'd probably procrastinated on making this change previously about going, I'll be a morning person or whatever. What made you change this time and stop procrastinating about working out early?
I'd procrastinated. I procrastinated on this last year because I ran the marathon. I don't know if I've told you, Ross. I ran a marathon.
Oh yeah, you never told anyone you ran a marathon last year, but yeah.
So a lot of my training was on the marathon, and then once that had finished, I'd promised somebody who got inspired by watching me train, they wanted to run a half marathon. So I said I'd run the half marathon for them. So I carried on my training.
Right.
But then I kind of got to a point in my head, and it's stupid, really. It's if I stop running and stop doing the training I'm doing now, I'm going to put all this weight on, and people know about my BDD. So, you know, that's a massive thing in my head anyway. Like, right. So I didn't want to change anything because what I was seeing wasn't necessarily working anymore. Like I'd kind of got to I'd kind of plateaued, so to speak. But what I didn't want to happen was the reverse. Does that make sense? Like I didn't want to just stop doing all that cardio, and that helped me get my 10,000 steps in. It's procrastination dressed up as practicality, because when I ran, I got my 10,000 steps in. I was moving for an hour, and I was doing a lot of cardio, so keeping the weight off. If I changed any of that, it meant I had to make more time to get my 10,000 steps in. It meant I had to wake up early in the morning on the cold, wet, windy Januaries. It meant not doing as much cardio, so I'm just going to bulk up again. And all this practicality, all this practicality thing that's going on in my head just was stopping me doing it.
So what made you? What made you change it? What made you go, right? I'm gonna stop. You know, this routine that I've been doing, and I'm gonna change one that I think might have a better outcome for me. What made you want to go and stop the cardio? Or you're still just doing cardio? What are you doing? Because you're not, are you?
No, I'm going to the gym now. I walk to the gym. My gym's about a mile and a half away. So by the time I walk there, do my workout, do a bit of a walk. I don't run at the gym now. I do a steep incline walk for about 10 minutes.
Good.
And by the time I've walked back, that's 9,000 steps. and walking around the house whilst I'm going down for my lunch or making a brew or going to the toilet or whatever, that's my other 1,000. That's done without me even thinking about it. And I lift weights now. I'm doing a lot of resistant workouts. So I guess the thing that made me change is doing a little bit of planning of, can I make this work? But just knowing that, I don't know, just knowing that I got it done by the time I start work. So it alleviates after work. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And but you scheduled it. You wouldn't have done it had you not gone, right, on this day, this is the day I get up, I set my alarm for 6, and when I feel like shit and I want to roll over, I'm going to force myself out of bed.
I've got this book here. It's called The Full Focus Planner that you gave me.
I gave you that, yeah.
Yeah, you gave me it a couple of years ago, and I've only just started using it. And every day, you can't see that really because it's
there you
white.
Go.
But there's goals on there and stuff like that. And for my first week, one of my top 3 goals was go to the gym. That was my goal every day. Go to the gym. Make sure I go to the gym. Get it in. Go to the gym. And then the next day, the next week, it was get up early and go to the gym. So not only had my routine changed of not running, but actually going to the gym, but then to get up early and go to the gym. And I set my alarm. As soon as I'm back from the gym, I set my alarm for the next day, 6 o'clock. So I don't forget that I've set it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just making that appointment with myself and keeping it. But I think going off the other side of just scheduling, I think the other thing to really help with procrastination is kind of the 5-second rule, is just starting. The hardest thing is to start. Like you said, when I wake up in the morning, I have to throw myself out of bed and get dressed.
I do, because it's really horrible.
If I just yawned and just stretched in bed for like 1 more minute, that's it. I'm not getting up. That's my procrastination kicking in again. Yep. It's starting. And I used to do the workouts with Sean T, the insanity workouts, T25, max 30. I did them all. And he says that the hardest part of any workout, and I think it's the hardest part for life, is just starting, just pressing play.
Yeah, it is. If people are procrastinating, reaching out to casting directors and sending an email or writing a script or something, just open the document up and just make a start. Just like write a few lines of it. If it's a script, write the title of that piece that you're going to write, and then just save it. You've just got to start. Create a folder on your desktop that might be, a spreadsheet or something of the people you are going to reach out to. Just begin, and then once you've got a bit of momentum going, it is much, much easier. But just be aware of what you might be procrastinating on, right now.
I think motivation comes up a lot within this area of procrastination. I'm just not motivated. Yeah. Motivation's a myth. No one's born with motivation. Motivation is something that you get through doing.
Yeah.
So by you having done that, opening that document, starting the title, getting up out of bed, just by doing something, you are creating the motivation to carry on. Because how many times have you started something that you didn't want to do, and then before you know it, you're halfway through it and you're like, oh, I really want to finish this. This is amazing.
Yeah, you get into it and you're like, oh, actually, this isn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be. I'm like that on a Sunday when I'm cleaning my flat. Sometimes I'm like, oh, God. But then I get a podcast on and I'm cleaning away. And I've got a coffee. I'm like, this is actually decent. It's all right. And I enjoy it. Everything is like beautiful and clean and tidy. So yeah, let us know in the chat if there's something that you are procrastinating on right now. Maybe you are dressing it up as practicality, or that you're preparing, you need a bit more preparation. I'd love to know, and we'll hold you accountable. If you're a member of actonthis.tv, particularly post in our community hub, let us know what it is that maybe you're putting off or you have been putting off for a while, because this is your signal right now from the universe and us to go, right, we're going to stop this and we're going to get it done. Something you have put off, maybe 2020 and 2024, that maybe you're still putting off now for whatever reason. You'd put off going acting classes for a bit, and again, you just decided, I'm going to go to a class, I'm going to book a class. You went and audited a class. You've taken a lot of action already in January.
Yeah.
And none of it's just like, oh, it's just easy. It's like, no, I'm just going to make a commitment. I'm going to make a commitment, put it in my calendar, and I'm just going to get it done. So that's
it's not a case of just going to a class. I did do a bit of practical thing, which could be seen as procrastination, is like researching which class I wanted to go to and getting reviews. But, I'd scheduled in the time to do that. Research the classes that I want to go to. Right, done that. My next one is get the reviews and find out which ones don't do classes on a Tuesday or Thursday because everybody does classes on a Tuesday or Thursday. So, that whittled it down to the ones that I could go on to on a Monday. And then, the next week, done. Just starting. Honestly, just get going.
See, Steph says, on Instagram, Steph says, my husband and I regularly hold each other to account. In other words, we set goals for ourselves, then ask the other one to hold us accountable. It works. No, it definitely does. The big part of, I know when Jay, who I work out with in the morning, isn't going to the gym. If he messages me and says, mate, I'm on call the next morning, I can't go. Rather than going at 6:45 in the morning, I'll often go, I'll go at 7:30 then, because Jay's not there. Accountability really makes. Sometimes I will run down to that gym because I've got up even at 10 to 7 or something like that, and I'll run down. I'll be sprinting to make it there for 2 minutes past because I don't want to let him down. Doing it, for other people is really useful. Kit says, this year I'm using your member features as my work every day. Nice one, Kit. Get stuck into the members area. There's so many great calls. I'll play a trailer out for the call we had last week actually with Karen Scully. It was amazing. And talking about procrastination, I mean, Karen is just amazing in terms of motivating actors to actually reach out to her and send their show reels and stuff to her. And Karen and Louise Kiley at Louise Kiley Casting are casting some of the biggest shows on earth. So I'll play that out for you to show that it's not just us saying get it done. Every casting director in the industry is saying, come on, step up, get it done. Claire says, it's consistently, I've been weight training for a year and really enjoy it. I've recently started spin classes. I'm not giving up. Yeah, mixing your exercise up is good actually as well, because it's less boring, mate. If you'd have just carried on doing the same cardio, you just get a little bit into the
I was running the same route and everything.
Definitely. Awesome. Right, so that was point number 3. Point number 2. Point number 3, I'm massive on this, and this could even be seen as controversial, but I don't care. This is fine. I stand by my words. Yeah, I'm probably going to get cancelled now. Well, I'm just a little bit bored of people teaching you in this industry and life that you're a victim. Right, there's a few voices in this industry who sell the victim mentality. Right, I just really, really believe this. They will try and convince you that the industry is against you, that external factors control your success, that everything's corrupt, everyone's out to take your money, everyone's out for themselves, no one wants to help anybody really, everybody's just out there conning everybody, and it's an over-coddling of the human mind. And there's a great book actually called The Overcoddling. I think it's The Overcoddling of the American Mind that really goes into just how dangerous, really dangerous this is. In terms of life-threatening, if you are told from very early on that everybody is against you, that you stand no chance of success because of whatever reason, it could be your financial background, your ethnicity, your gender, your sexuality, a disability. When people are telling you that, in an industry that's already difficult, that the odds are stacked against you so much, you're not going to try and take any of the action that we've just been talking about. It's making it so much easier for you to procrastinate because you'll go, well, what's the freaking point anyway? And I am one that's massive on self-care. It's a bit of a buzzword, isn't it? Not burning out, looking after yourself. But there comes a point where you have to just admit that if you're going to get anywhere in this industry, you've got to put the work in. And there will be seasons of your life where you have to metaphorically bleed out of your eyes if you want any kind of success. Act On This now is a successful platform. It's a successful business. But for the first 8 years, in all transparency, and I've said this before, this business owed me £64,000, and I was putting 16 hours a day into it for 8 years before anybody gave a shit about it. Now, had I been told at the time, there's no point, Ross, because everyone's against you anyway, based on these things that you can't control, like, your ethnicity, your age, your background, all this sort of stuff, it would have made it so much harder for me to have the mental resilience to push forward and go, no, I'm going to do it anyway. And people did tell me to shut this down at points, and were like, what's the point? It's just costing you money every year. My accountant, and he meant it with love, man, but my accountant, John, every year, how are we doing, John? It's another $5,000 loss this year, Ross. Excellent. Brilliant. And I was like buzzing, like, it's okay. The community's still going. I believe in this. Now it's super successful. But on the flip side, people don't like that either. So, people will try and bring down successful companies in this industry or successful actors and say it's all luck or they're this, they're that, the other. Please be careful of people just selling you this victim mentality, because there are people around the world who literally will go, what's the point in living if everything's against me? It's really, really dangerous. It leads to hopelessness, inaction, and it just leaves you feeling out of control of your success. I promise you, through my own experience, through coaching thousands of actors over the last 15 years, having hundreds of actors in our community weekly posting their results, seeing it in my own career, like in Petch's career, we were talking about your audition before. You are so much more in control of your career than you are giving yourself, credit for. If you do believe everything's against you and you stand no chance of winning, this is something we've really got to tackle this year. Because people will sell you, they'll profit off selling you the victim mentality. Because it's like, you are a victim, so how about I coach you and charge you this for this? Or why don't you come on this thing with me that's a few $100 here and there because you're a victim and everyone's against you, but I'm not. You can trust me, give me your money. Be careful of people who are selling you negativity and telling you that the industry is corrupt and against you, because it's just not true. I've interviewed over 950 of the best casting directors, agents, actors, writers, directors, producers. There's been one bad egg in that bunch, one questionable in over 950. Most people in this industry are lovely, wonderful, incredibly supportive people who want you to win. Should I play? I should probably play. I'll play Karen out now. I said before, about the trailer. Do you want to say anything before I do, Petch?
Yeah, just before you play that out, actually, you got me thinking. It's like, language is so powerful, and people you hear now get quote unquote triggered from certain words and from certain things that are happening, and where I lie on that, is neither here nor there. But what I was going to say on that is that even in the media now, you're not meant to call people victims. The survivors of whatever trauma that they have gone through. They're not the victim. They are the survivor, and it puts the power back on that person. And I think that's how we need to be. We're not victims. We're not. We're surviving this industry. We're not even surviving. We're thriving in this industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think even that's disempowering. Yeah, I'd just be like, look, you are an actor that's working towards a goal. You're not, I think that's why Surviving Actors changed their name to Actors Pro Expo, because I think that's almost kind of like going, well, hang on a minute, am I just existing in this? For me, it's like, yeah, you've just got to look at the actual reality of life, which is like, look, it's not easy. If you want anything that's worth having, you've got to work your ass off for it. You're not entitled to anything in this industry whatsoever. And people telling you that it's not your fault, that, everything's against you, and that, it all should come easy to you, it's all corrupt, they're just doing you no favors, because you're just going to become weak and not resilient to any kind of challenge that life, not just this industry, throws at you. Life is going to punch you in the face so hard, so many times in your existence here, in your hopefully 100 years on Earth, that by telling you that you are not powerful, you can't control anything, it's just really, really dangerous. So I just see it, and I see actors, then almost letting themselves off the hook, going, oh, you know what, yeah, I won't bother doing anything this week just because. And that's fine. I'm not saying work yourself to burnout or anything like that at all. Don't do that. Do what's comfortable for you. But just know that the more effort you do put in, generally speaking, the more results you will get out. And it's just knowing that. It's like going back to the gym. If you eat well, you focus on what you're putting in your body and you exercise, your body's going to look like you eat well and exercise. And it's going to be there to support you. It'll be strong. And everybody's going to have, certain limits on what they can lift and what they can do. And people have different circumstances that they're born into. But again, it's controlling the controllables for you and just playing the best cards that you can. But I'm just sick of people telling you that there's no point or everything's bad or highlighting all the negativity. Just annoys me, because I'm just like, it's so disempowering. To empower you, going back to casting directors, wanting to hear from you, I do want to play this trailer out. This is just a little mashup of just 2 minutes of a session that we held with one of the best casting directors in the industry, Karen Scully from Louise Kiley's office. Karen co-cast Normal People, the BAFTA and Emmy-nominated Normal People. She's just is casting a brand new series of ITV's The Dry, the 3rd season of that. She goes into that in this session that we did with her just this week. But the big overall kind of message I feel from this broadcast, Petch, was like, look, again, you are in control as an actor. You are a business. Let's not forget that. You're not just an artist. You're a freaking business. You need to start looking at yourself as one. And if you're not, you'll hear Karen say this, if you're not putting yourself out there and letting her know that you exist, Karen is sat there twiddling her thumbs going, hang on a minute, I need to discover actors. These actors are too afraid to reach out to me that I'd be so happy to hear from, because they're being told by other people that there's no point. So I'm telling you, there is a point, and that you are in control. Please believe more in how much control you do have over your career. I'm going to take us off the screen for a second, Petch. Let me just stop this music. I'll put some music on. I'll put that back on in a minute. I don't like it when we're just silent. We were silent for a bit before. We had no background music. But yeah, let's put this, and I'll take us off the screen. And this is just your permission to do something this week, folks. Sorry, Petch, I've got to take you off. And this isn't me saying it. This is one of the top casting directors in the game saying it. Listen to this, and hopefully this will just inspire you to do something this week you weren't going to do. Her casting credits include the Emmy-nominated Normal People, BAFTA-nominated comedy The Dry, upcoming CW drama Sherlock and Daughter, and so many more. It's casting director Karen Scully making an Act On This debut. Karen, it's so awesome to have you here. How are you?
Oh, thank you, Ross. That's so sweet.
Tonight, we are going to dive deep into your casting process at Louise Carley Casting. We're going to learn exactly how to get on your casting radar for upcoming auditions, get your best advice on nailing those auditions so we land the roles, and we're going to do Q&A with the actors who are here live. Just announced, literally a week ago, season 3 of The Dry.
I'd appreciate it if you keep your voice
I would
down.
appreciate it if you weren't riding your acupuncturist.
She's not just an acupuncturist. She also does reflexology.
When I'm just watching it, like, I'm being entertained, like the punter on the couch that I am.
As a viewer, yeah.
Then I'm like, that's good TV.
This is the full team at Louise Carley Casting. Walk us through everybody's roles and responsibilities. Yeah, and then we'll dive into how you work together on this new season of The Dry.
Most of the time, say, you know, myself and Thurza will be kind of figuring it all out with Louise. And then what happens is we will have designated associates and assistants on each show.
What are you going to be doing with your assistants and associates over EPs 2 and 3, for example, if there are smaller roles coming in, just to find new faces?
So, for instance, on my to-do list of like where to find my actors, I'll be like, sent the brief to the agent, sent the brief on Spotlight. I personally have a do not forget list.
Everyone here wants to get on your casting radar for future auditions so they can get onto your do not forget list.
Yay.
Let's just briefly go over emails and get in them right. And as I say, we'll give Karen's email address out later.
I'm very happy for everybody here to send me an email. I will answer it at some point. Approach it like a business. Do you know what I mean? So make sure before you press send, think of it like, if I receive this, can I see my headshot? Can I see my CV? We don't exist without you. When you're wondering, should you send that tape, or should you make that show reel, or should you send your CV and stuff, I will be sitting here twiddling my thumbs if you don't.
Boom! Let's bring us back on, Petch. I mean, if that isn't permission for you to take control of your career, I don't know what is. That's someone at the top of the game going, we do not exist without you. It blew me away where Karen said, actually, you know what, anyone sends me an email, I mean, this is just respect to Louise Carley, who heads up that office. It's company policy to reply to everybody. And yeah, you might not get a reply for 2 months because they're very busy. They're casting currently 8 to 10 projects right now. If you do get an Act On This membership, by the way, you'll get access to the full replay of that session in the members area right now. It's 2 hours, but you will get the email address for Karen. You'll find out exactly how to send her your show reel. She's casting The Dry literally now, and we'll be doing that until March, April time. So if you like that show, it's a top show, it's BAFTA nominated, and you think that you suit it, you should definitely be reaching out. You should not be procrastinating. You should not be listening to the people who will sell you victimhood or survivorhood or whatever we're calling it. You know, you're just a human being experiencing life, and you're going to go through some shit. That's it. That's just it, innit? You know, it's nothing abnormal about that. You've just got to push through it, fight through it, and empower yourself. But yeah, that's somebody at the top of the game who's like, look, come on, you're not this poor little, thing, what like a damsel in distress going, oh my God, I'm so powerless. You're not. If you feel powerless, you are making yourself powerless. You're giving yourself permission to feel like that, or you're listening to the wrong people in this industry. Don't listen to other actors selling you shit based on victimhood when there's a top casting director there saying, reach out to me.
What is it Matt Hall always says? Pass
the blame, pass the power. Yeah, stop. Yeah, don't blame anyone else, anything else in this industry. Blame yourself in a very positive way. I'm like, look, and we've both been through this privately. We've had conversations, Petch, where we're like, right, if we're not where we want to be, what are we doing that's contributing to that? and how can we take more action? You know, we just spoken about that. Or you in the gym, sending more emails out, going to more acting classes, like, and I bet you feel miles better for it than you did in December, don't you? You must
definitely.
do. I feel it even just in your aura, mate. You just you sound better on voice notes. If I'm honest with you, you just sound happier. Honestly, like I think we both had a very tumultuous year last year. But you sound. I've not heard a voice note from you so far in 2025 where I felt that you're downbeat. And if anything, when I felt up against it, or I felt a bit like, oh my god, overwhelmed, we've got a lot to do this today. Hearing you in that state makes me calmer, because I'm like, oh, okay, right, well, Petch has got this under control as well. He knows what he's got to do. I know what I've got to do, and together we'll get through the work. So, yeah, but that's through taking action. That's only through taking action. You've taken the action. So that's the third thing.
Last year, mate. Turn me grey, look.
Yeah, no, well, I'm losing my hair. Yeah, no, don't think about 40. It's all right. You've got 8 days yet. You've got 8 days till 40, Petch. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, so ultimately the solution for this victimhood stuff is just taking responsibility, again, for what you can control. That's going to be your training. That's going to be reaching out to people, networking efforts. Focus on solutions rather than obstacles. Turn setbacks into opportunities. Look at what you can learn from each outcome. You know, there's no negative result or losses. It's just an outcome. You can always learn from that. You know, embrace that this year and just like be the victor. Do you know what? The better word out of it all, not survivor, is victor, innit? Be the victor of your circumstances, not the victim. Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, that's a good word. Be a victor of your circumstances. So that was point number 3. Again, let us know in the chat if you resonate with this. If you're like, actually, hang on a minute, maybe I have been doing that. Maybe I've been listening to some people telling me how, you know, wrong the industry is and how corrupt it is. I don't even think, don't get me on this, but I don't even think Equity do a good job of it at the moment. I think Equity is selling everybody fear. Stop suing Spotlight, Equity. We won't get onto that today.
Just got an email from Equity now saying something about it's been Blue Monday this week, and I'm like, can people stop with the Blue Monday thing? It's not a thing.
I must admit, I used it again for a bit of clickbait, but Blue Monday was supposed to be the third Monday of the year, is supposed to be a depressing Monday. It was manufactured by the holiday industry to get you to book holidays. It wasn't actually, you know, scientifically proven. I used it in a bit of marketing, bit naughty, but don't listen to it. It's bullshit. Not my marketing, just Blue Monday. Point number 4. If you're still here and you're keeping up, the fourth toxic mindset trap that I see people falling into, and this, you know what, this is kind of a repeat of what we just said about Karen there, but it's just avoiding putting themselves out there and sending stuff, promoting their work, meeting people, and a lot of times in real life as well, going to stuff in real life for fear of other people's judgment and what they're going to think of you. It's avoiding industry events, avoiding connecting with peers, avoiding reaching out to people in the industry. It just limits your visibility and the opportunities that you will get. One thing that I am committing to, and I'm pretty good at this anyway, but I would implore other people to commit to this year, is to have conversations with people that you've never met before. I just jumped on Zoom with somebody before who we won't say, because if they want me to know. Not there's anything bad. Don't be anything bad there. I don't want to say. But I just jumped on with an industry professional before who I'd never met before. We just felt we had a few things in common and a bit of synergy there. And we spent an hour and a half chatting about all things industry. Petch couldn't be there because he was going to view a house that he's not buying. Pointless. He should have stayed at home. And now that's another connection that I've got.
Chained to my desk. Working.
Why are we not working? That's another connection, though, that I've got in this industry. There's not a casting director. There's not a director. There's nobody who could give me a job whatsoever. It's just a peer that I thought, you do an interesting job in this industry. I'm going to reach out and we're going to have a chat. And we're pretty good at that. We met a lot of people last year. You know, we met the lads at Just Add Milk because we decided we'd sponsor their event. People like Mel Brown at Spotlight we reached out to. We're just finding interesting people in the industry and just going, oh, I'll drop you an email. Just see, you know, what you're up to. Explain a bit more about your job. Oh, maybe there's some common ground there that, you know, we could have a chat about or we could help each other. But fear really stops people in their tracks on this, and this is a mindset sort of shift in terms of again, it's kind of, you can't kind of force yourself into this, but it's making, as we always say, the what's the word, making the excitement, I suppose, or making the optimism of what could come from those connections louder, than the fear of actually having the conversation. How many times? I'd love to know this. If you're here live, have you been at a theatre, a press night, even a show? You might have been even just out randomly, and you've seen someone from the industry, either an actor that you really admire, a casting director that maybe you've seen on Act On This session that you're aware of, and you've been dying to just go and say hello, and you haven't because you've shit yourself. Not literally, hopefully. And I mean, don't
At
go.
that point, don't go.
Don't go. I'm gonna get kicked off YouTube for swearing. I'm sorry. And you've regretted it. You've gone on the train on the way back, and you're going, "Oh God, why? You could have. What were they gonna do? You could have just said hello." You know, I'm better at this at read-throughs. I went to a read-through this week. There's some really famous people there. I'm not in the show, but Ruth Jones was there. James Nesbitt was there. Minnie Driver was there. It's a bit scary, but I'm like, actually, you know what? We're all kind of here together on this project. I'll make an effort of going to say hello to people. I don't go up to them and ask them for something, you know, and you don't have to do that with the casting director. I remember someone messaged us, Petch, saying, "You'll never guess what? I just saw Daniel Edwards at a theatre show in the break." Top casting director, Daniel Edwards. And I put my big girl pants on. This was exactly what she said. And I went and said hello. And Daniel messaged me to say that he'd met one of the actors from Act On This, you know, and how lovely they were or whatever. And she wasn't going over and going, "Hi, Daniel, can I have an audition?" It was literally just a connection, that initial connection of just, "Hey, I'm a big fan of your work. Not going to take any more time. Just wanted to say hello. Seen you on the chats with Ross. Hopefully one day our paths will cross." That's enough for that first conversation. And then, you know, you can build rapport over the weeks. You don't need to be scared of that initial contact because it's like all or nothing syndrome. It's not. It's just making some connections and just saying hello and upping your visibility within this industry. So it's shifting that mindset from networking is scary to networking is relationship building and is visibility for me and is actually just human interaction, and we don't get enough of that these days. Not in the real world, anyway. What would you say on that, Petch?
Doing it in the real world, in real life, is better than social media and emails. I'm not crapping over social media or emails. I'm one to promote people getting themselves out there and to email casting directors and things like that. But if you can do it in real life, when you can make that personal hand-to-hand touch, that face-to-face connection, it's just more memorable. And it's funny how social media has made us less social, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And what I find is really interesting is when you've had conversations with people via email or social. We had this with great casting associate, Andy Price casting associate, Christian Wall, who runs Just Add Milk. I spoke to him and Liam McLaughlin, who run Just Add Milk, over email for quite a few months because we were sponsoring the event. Now, when we went down, what I always find is like really lovely and interesting is you don't know, if you've not met these people in real life or even seen video of them, you don't know how they move, their mannerisms, or what they sound like. Christian didn't sound like I thought he'd sound. I just thought it was really interesting. I just thought, God, you've got a great voice. And not that I didn't think you would sound like that, but like, he's a bit East End. He's quite Cockney, isn't he, Christian? And I just thought, it's a great character. And from just a still picture online and a conversation, you don't get that. This is why I think the Acts On This sessions are so cool, because you get to see casting directors in their natural habitat at home or whatever, or in their office. So when you meet them in real life, you know what to expect. But it is, you're right, it's nicer. I was like buzzing meeting the boys there because I'm like, oh, I knew you were nice from email, but you're even better like in real life. So getting out into the world in 2025 could be, you know, something that people want to do more. But just set those small goals, you know, like starting one conversation or sending one email a week if you've never done that before. And again, let us know if you resonate with that, if there's any comments, we can bring them up for you. And then the fifth thing, and this is just something that I've seen from this challenge that we ran, Petch, because we had 200 people going through this challenge last week, and we had a pop-up Facebook group. It's only there for a week. But people, like, I was so impressed with the engagement. People were really supporting each other. They were giving it all. They were committed to watching the features, answering the questions, and then not only answering the questions for themselves and expecting everybody else to like their post and reply to their post, they were liking other people's posts. They were making comments. I felt we had a really good kind of community of people that weren't on our main community Acts On This. They weren't members of Acts On This. A lot of these people were just doing the challenge. They're not current, like paid up members of the website. And one thing that I worry about a little bit, because obviously, there's no obligation to come and become a member of Acts On This. I would recommend you do if you want to be around the best people in the industry every week. But I feel that there's a mindset trap you can fall into that I would class as this, and it's the lone wolf syndrome. And I used to be a bit like this when I started out in the industry. I just like felt that my success was kind of like entirely on me, and I had to do it all on my own. And it is, you've got to be accountable, like we said before. But it's asking for help and support. Not enough actors ask for help and support. And I sent an email out last week to the email list, and I had about 200 replies saying, what's the biggest obstacle in your career right now? And a lot of people were like, you know, I need a community. I don't really understand the industry enough, and I'm trying to do everything on my own. And I'm like, be around other people. If you can't join the membership at Act On This, at least form your own little groups with people that you know who are other actors. Try to do everything yourself without help or support. It just leads to isolation and slower growth. Really slower growth. You can learn so much more if you're around other people who are working towards similar goals as you, who can let you in on things that are going on in the industry. We had this chat with Karen the other night, didn't we? You know, how you find out about auditions and stuff that, you know, are going on. A lot of it is word of mouth. And if you're just doing it on your own, there's no word of mouth. No one's going to say, hey, Lee, I just had this audition today. Use your real name there, Petch. Hey, Petch.
Was that
It's not even your real name. His real name's Peter. It's not even a joke. That is his real name. Lee, Petcher, Peter, Petch, whatever. Yeah, you know, if you're not amongst other people and you're not, you know, you're trying to do everything on your own, I can't say, hey, I just had an audition for this thing and there was a role in it that would be really suitable for you. Why don't you nudge your agent to go and, you know, see if they can push you for that? Or why don't you reach out to the casting director yourself? There's too many people trying to do life on their own and not asking for help because they're afraid of looking stupid. They're like, this is a really, we get this a lot. People post a question and they preface it with, I'm sorry if this sounds stupid. Doesn't sound stupid. Nothing you could ask is ever stupid. If you don't know the answer, you just don't know the answer. And anyone else who can give you the answer didn't know it at some point. They figured it out or were told it from somebody else as well. So there are no stupid questions, as we always say, except the questions that you don't ask. And I mean that as in, like, by not asking a question, that's a stupid thing to do. There aren't a set of questions that you don't ask. Ask whatever you want. But you've got to ask this year. You've got to ask for help and support if you need it. We're here if you email any of us, whether you remember or not, I don't care. actonthis.tv if you want to become a member. But Ross at actonthis.tv, Lee at actonthis.tv, even though it's not his real name. You could email either of us. We're responsive. Again, might take a little while to get back to you. You know, we've got a Facebook group you can join. That's a public Facebook group for free. If you just search for Act On This, the TV Actors Network on Facebook. You can ask questions in there, but don't try and do everything on your own this year. That is a toxic trait in itself, really. Like, you know, you cannot do life on your own. At some point, you're going to need help coping. You're going to need help, you know, with so many different areas of your life, not even just the acting industry, but like ask for what it is that you need. But people are afraid because they're like, people are going to judge me and I'm going to feel stupid. I don't care. I ask loads of questions.
I've not seen a interview. I've not watched a biography. I've not read an autobiography of famous people where the person has said, I did this all on my own. Everybody who has made it has had help at some point along the way.
Yeah, and the thing is, as they've got more and more successful, that team has become bigger and bigger as well behind them. They've not gone, oh, right, now I've reached this level, I don't need anybody now. It's like, the teams have actually got bigger.
Look at the tennis right now. I know you're not a massive sports fan or anything, Ross, but he's not the number one at the moment, the way that the tennis rankings work, but he is the number one. It's Novak Djokovic.
Yeah.
Top vegan. You know, people saying vegans can't do it. Anyway, that's beside the point. I'd say that he's one of, if not the best male tennis player at the moment. And yet he's just hired Andy Murray, who used to be his competitor, to be his coach. Now that Andy Murray's retired. So even he's going to somebody who he used to compete against regularly for help, just to better his game for this set of tournaments. I think,
I just noticed Steve Bartlett yesterday signed with, I can't remember the agency in LA, but signed with a big agent to try and push him further in America, even though he's got pretty much the biggest podcast in the world almost, bar Joe Rogan. One of the biggest podcasts. He's a dragon on Dragon's Den. He's incredibly successful. He owns multiple companies. And he's, you know, the team behind the Diary of a CEO is probably 30 to 40 strong. He's not done that on his own. You can't create that kind of podcast. I mean, you need a lot of money to pay 30 or 40 people. we've got enough to pay Petch at the moment, but
Just.
you know, we've got just
Even
enough.
then,
Please
I need a pay rise.
Yeah, please come and join Act On This, so we can pay Petch this year. ActOnThis.tv, get your membership. You know, help a Petch, adopt a Petch, get a membership, help Petch out this year. But yeah, you know, there's so many people that go into that success. You just can't do it on your own, folks. You can't build your team. You know, work with your agent, with other actors. If you're not reps, it's fine. You know, if you've got acting coaches and stuff, you know, just make sure you're connected to people and you're asking for the help that you want, because no one's going to judge you. Or they shouldn't anyway, for whatever, you know, you need help with in this industry.
And the acting industry is so lonely as it is. I mean,
yeah, can be. Yeah,
you go to classes and you feel all right. You do performances with your cast, and they become your family for however long the show runs for. Or you're in you're on a one-day shoot, and you know you're with people. But at the end of the day, when the majority is just you at your desk, and it can feel so lonely. And you've got, I call them muggle friends and things like that, people who are normal and do normal jobs, do you know what I mean? But they don't understand what you're going through. They don't understand the frustration of, I can't talk to my agent, or I don't know what's happening here, or, you know, they're more bothered about how to install a door or whatever. Like, people just don't they don't get it, do you know what I mean? So
random one.
Well, yeah.
Just more
mean?
interested in doors. My mate Liam makes doors, though. It's probably where you got that from.
I think that's where I got it from.
Yeah, he makes doors. Can't talk to him about acting.
But if you had a group full of actors who are going through the same thing that you're going through, who have either been through it and can guide you through it, or are coming up to that stage and you can help them through it, I think it's just a nicer place to be in. And that's what I love about Act On This. I always say, you come for the features because the features are priceless. I mean, there's a price on them, but they are priceless. But you stay for the community. You stay for the community.
People, like, I've seen people over the last 15 years make lifelong friends from being members of the community, and people have their own, you know, self-tape groups now, their own improvisation groups. People are filming self-tapes and showreel scenes with each other because they've met, you know, on common ground, you know, through this community. So yeah, do seek out a tribe this year. So to recap, 5 toxic mindset traps just to be aware of this year. These are them in probably in this order, I think, is the most important. The first one, over attachment to results. Quit looking for validation from everybody else but yourself. Stop worrying about the praise you're getting on social media, how many likes you've got, how many comments you've got, whether you got the job or not. Control the controllables ultimately, and just, you know, just set your expectation based on what you expect from yourself rather than what you expect from the audition. It's like, I expect from myself to go into this prepared. I can control that. To leave the room better than I found it, I can control that. And to give a great performance, I can control that. And that's it. Don't have any expectation on whether you're going to book it or not, because it's kind of out of your control. Point number 2, procrastination. Let's get on top of this. Let's stop disguising it as preparation or some practical reason about why we can't do something yet. If you're waiting on footage for a show reel and it's going to be 4 months, don't wait. Shoot something else, even if it's a self-tape that's, you know, highly aligned to your casting type. It's a great performance from you, you know, that's well shot, well lit. We can hear you well. Get that out to people for now. Like, there's a lot you can do in 4 months rather than sitting there convincing yourself you can't reach out because you're waiting on this footage. So that goes for any procrastination. Let's stop the stagnation and the missed opportunities. Point number 3. This is the biggest one for me, actually. I should have put this number 1. Victim mentality. I'm just so passionate about this. Stop allowing people to tell you that there's no point, that the industry's this, the industry's that, everyone's against you, it's corrupt. It's just nonsense. It's absolute lies. Every casting director that I have met, director, writer, producer, over the last 15 years that we've interviewed, all want to discover new people. They expect you to reach out to them. If you're talented, they want to hear from you. You know, you don't need permission. You need to just get that done, right? Don't listen to people telling you how disempowered you are and hopeless this industry is and why there's no point in taking any action, because, you know, your default result there will just be you won't work. Point number 4, let's stop avoiding doing things out of fear. It's kind of like point 3 in it, really, but out fear of judgment or the fact that there's no point. You know, let's not avoid industry events. Let's not avoid connecting with peers. Let's not avoid reaching out to people in the industry. Let's up our visibility and opportunity that comes with that by building relationships. That's ultimately the point there. Build relationships this year. Make a conscious decision to reach out to someone, even just one message on X or one Instagram DM. Doesn't even have to be email. Like if you see something or even a comment on a post that you're like, actually, this is a great post. Start building some of those, some of that rapport and some of those relationships with people you've never met before. You never know where that could lead to. And then point number 5, don't be a lone wolf. Lone wolf syndrome. If you are trying to do everything on your own, and again, it's probably because you're scared of asking questions from other people who you're like, that's an easy question for them and I can't ask them. Ask it. Seek people out who have got what you want or have achieved things that you're on the way to achieve, and ask them how they did it. Ask for help. Don't, keep yourself in isolation, because it will just lead to slower growth. Build your own community. Come and join our community. You want to be surrounded by supportive actors, coaches, and mentors, basically, and just collaborate with peers to grow together and share insights as well. If you can help someone else out, they might not know that they're trying to do everything on their own. If you see someone who's just trying to do everything on their own, invite them in to your thing as well. Bring them in out from the cold, Petch. It's bloody cold at the moment. Just go, hey, hang on a minute. I see you. You're good at this when we do networking events. So we do in-person networking events for our members once a quarter, and then we do online networking events every month. But we might be at, we do them at 53.2, the theatre. We might be in a circle, and there'll be like 6 people in a circle having a chat. I've got no peripheral vision, see, because I've got dodgy eyes. I don't see people who might be outside of that circle. And you're very good at that, Petch. You'll often walk over if someone's looking a bit awkward. You can tell the awkward ones at networking events because they're stood there with a drink, they're looking around, and then that gets too much for them to the point where they have to reach for their phone. And the second you see somebody reaching for their phone when they're stood on their own with a drink and they're pretending to scroll on something, but they're not scrolling on something, we've all been there, you're just looking to look busy because you feel embarrassed that you're not speaking to anybody. You'll go and grab them and bring them in, and then you'll introduce them to the group. And you go, oh, what's your name? I'll tell people where you're from. And it's bringing those people into the circle that might be a little bit afraid of bringing themselves in. So just be aware of those people as well. Because you never know. They could be, super great people to work with as well. So they're the 5 points. Let us know if you watch on the replay as well what your favourite one is, or add your own in the comments below. Would love to hear some mindset traps you see other people falling into. What would you say, Petch, to wrap up those 5 things? Any more insight?
No, I think we've covered everything there. I think, like you said at the beginning, it does just fall under that umbrella of confidence. Confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can get better at each of these little traps, your confidence will slowly start to grow, and you'll start challenging yourself, and you'll start seeing what else you can do. Like for me, going to that acting class for the first time was again
how did that feel?
Zone.
Because you've not been for a bit, had you?
No, but there was a time where I was going to 2 acting classes like
a week. Yeah.
And now it's been it's been a minute since that time we shall not name. Where I just got comfortable being at home, being the community manager of Act On This. I knew what I was doing. I knew that I could field questions, and if there was any answers I wasn't too sure about, I knew I could go to you. And like I'd built my own little fortune of what's the word from Superman?
I don't know.
Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, okay.
I built my own little fortress of solitude right here. Do you know what I mean? Where I felt comfortable and everything was good. And then just stepping out of my house because I haven't been out in years. I have been out, but do you know what I mean? But and going to a class where there are other actors there who have probably been going to this same class for weeks, months, again, if not years.
Yeah, and people will watch you on these YouTube as well. There's pressure there, I guess. You're like, people know who you are before you go in there. Yeah.
Totally. But just doing it, and now it's made me go, right, I've done that. Now I'm going to start looking at a martial arts class again, because I used to do martial arts. So I've done it once, I can do that again.
Is that so you can beat people up in the acting class if they say you're rubbish?
100%, yeah. 100%.
That's what you do. I've been to an acting class, and now I've decided that I need to go and learn how to fight.
But it's that thing. Well, it's so cliched, but it's so true that life begins outside of your comfort zone, doesn't it? So
yeah,
I got really comfortable in where I was at, and it's the same going back to the running. I got like starting out, that was nerve-wracking, but I got comfortable in doing it because I'd done it for so long, training for the marathon. Like going to the gym now became out of my comfort zone. So yeah, the more you do to challenge yourself, the better your life is. There is a phrase I do live by, one of these motto things, and it's do one thing every day that scares you. I try and live by that.
I don't do that because I don't know. I don't like being scared. But how do you do that without it being like? Actually, what do you mean? Like, what have you done today that's scary?
What have I done today that's scary? Today, we keep going about the gym. Today, there was a piece of equipment by a guy who looked like he was using it. Normally, I'd walk on by. Holding my hands up, I'd walk on by and come back to it if there wasn't any, if he wasn't using it a bit later on. I went up to him. I said, "Excuse me, pal, are you using
that?"
No, and that was fine. That scared me.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
No,
it's not scary.
Yeah.
Scary, but it scared me.
That's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to clarify, because I think there's things in my life where I do that, but I don't feel actual fear. And I thought, is that what you're going for? Are you going for? No, I get that though. That can be sometimes where you're like, hang on a minute. Are they using that? Are they on that? Am I just going to interrupt that?
It's enough to get your heart going. Do you know what I mean? Just a little bit to get your heart going.
Yeah, or maybe you just up the weight 5 kilograms and you're not sure whether you're going to drop it in front of everyone or not.
Yeah. As long as your heart's going and you can feel that you're alive, because there's no better qualifier than you feeling that heartbeat in your chest, and you know that the blood's pumping to everywhere that needs it, and you're getting the oxygen everywhere. Just feeling that makes you, it's a reminder that you're alive and that you can conquer anything. Whilst you're alive, you still have time to do anything. So,
I love it.
One thing every
do
day
something that's a little bit frightening, but isn't actually gonna give you a heart attack.
Jump out of a plane. That's the best thing you could do. Honestly, it's amazing.
I'm not doing that. I've got too much to live for. I'd be the one that it'd go wrong on. I'm not doing that. But
that's
hats off to those people.
Right there.
Yeah, I'm honestly, it's a limited belief. I don't care about getting over, because I'm like, I don't know it will actually ever really truly enhance my life. It's a life and death risk that I don't want to take. Same as bungee jumping. I'm never going to do it. Don't get me to New Zealand to jump off a bridge. I'm just not doing it. I'll go to New Zealand to look at the beautiful scenery, but I'm just not doing any of that life and death stuff. I've got too much to live for. Folks, I hope this has been useful for you. Mindset is something that's so important. Don't forget, actonthis.tv/mindset. We're going to run this free training Saturday, the 1st of February. It's not just going to be Petch and I. It's going to be Mr. Matt Hall, world record-breaking high-performance coach. He's got all of the qualifications. We've got life experience around mindset in this industry, but Matt's the guy with the certificates and stuff that really brings credibility to this training. actonthis.tv/mindset. I'm going to really go over 3 areas. That's going to be crushing anxiety, obliterating audition nerves, and getting over procrastination. So if you do struggle with confidence, ultimately, that is the umbrella, like we said, that this all falls into. If you are feeling underconfident because maybe you've not got yourself out there for quite a while, maybe you're feeling a bit rusty, you've been out of the industry for a while, you're coming back. Ultimately, if you want to create a bulletproof mindset to take on the acting industry and win, actonthis.tv/mindset. Go and get one of those free places. It's going to be about a 90-minute training. I promise you, it'll be really, really worthwhile you turning up to. And I don't think I'm going to record it because I want to reward people who actually go, yeah, you know what? I'm taking action in 2025 and I'm going to turn up live. If you're not there, you're probably going to miss it. So actonthis.tv/mindset. You'll get an email with your Zoom link instantly. Save that. You'll also get like a little calendar invite, so you can click on the logo for the calendar you use. It'll put it in your calendar automatically for you. Schedule it. It's going to help you get over that procrastination that we spoke about today. actonthis.tv/mindset. Go get your place. And we'll be back. What have we got coming up? Oh, God, next Tuesday for Acts on This members. Yeah, next Tuesday. This week's nearly over, isn't it, already? We're going to be joined for all Acts on This members. I'll share this. Let me share my screen. Again, I only just took this down, but for those people who haven't gone yet, let me just show you what's coming up. Because we've got some absolutely banging calls coming up. actonthis.tv. Let me just get the right address in. If you go to actonthis.tv/live, you can see our schedule of calls in 5 days, 2 hours. Going to be joined by this absolute legend, top casting director Shiraz Ahmed from Beverly Keogh's office. Casting director for All Creatures Great and Small and The Hardacres as well. He cast Time with Stephen Graham. He cast that with David Martin, God rest his soul, total legend. No longer with us, but he was a fantastic casting director. Shiraz has been in the industry a long time. Channel 5 drama, The Feud, that's not out yet. That's coming out. He's casting that. He's got some great projects on the go this year. He will be casting All Creatures Great and Small again, because that just seems to never stop going. So if you're a fan of this show, you want to know how to get on Shiraz's casting radar, maybe audition for the show. That's going to be Tuesday night, the 28th of January, 7:30 p.m. The following week, we've got Showreel Surgery for members, where we're going to play out 5 members' showreels as we usually do, dissect those. Chris Stone, the top showreel producer, is going to be with us, helping you walk through an 8-step formula for your best showreel ever in 2025. Top agent Natalie Payne will be with us the week after that. Top director Dermot Goggins will be with us the week after that. He just directed lead director on ITV's brand new drama that's not out yet called Code of Silence. He's someone whose radar you want to get on. Week after that, Act On This Answers with Petch and I. Week after that, we've got casting associate, he's casting director, but he works with top casting directors as their associate, Simon Higgins. He's been in the industry a decade as an actor before going into casting. He'll be with us talking about, again, getting on his casting radar. He works for Olivia Scott Webb and Dan Hubbard, casting some massive stuff. That's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it, Petch? Got so many calls coming up for basically what's going to cost you a latte a week, guys. Stop wasting money on nonsense and just come and hang out with the best people in the industry. actonthis.tv/live. Go check out the full schedule. But yeah, we'll see you on Tuesday night with Shiraz if you're going to be there.
Amazing.
That's about it, innit? We'll just love everyone and leave everyone. Any questions?
Before we do wrap up, I just want to say if you have any of the traps that we haven't mentioned, do pop them below in the comments. We do read them, and we'd love to know your feedback. As always, on YouTube, hit that like button.
Smash the like button.
Just gonna gently press it. Just gently press that like button. Don't smash anything. Hit subscribe and hit the notification bell as well, so you can keep up to date whenever we do go live. Do follow us on all social medias at Act On This TV. There's Ross at Ross A Grant. There's me at Petch_Act On This. And we do hope that you get involved, and we hope to see you in the community really, really soon.
Nice. And just dead quick, 20-second answer on there. So just notice, don't want to leave you hanging. AED, is it? I just catching up on the 5-day challenge. That's what we did last week. Was wondering how I get to know where to find what shows are coming up and what casting directors to email, as I'm not represented yet. So the answer there really is don't get too hung up on that. You need to introduce yourself. It's kind of a theme that we just covered there, and it's to every casting director in this industry this year, AD anyway. Just because you will never know exactly what's going on. You know, Karen, who we had on last week, that office at Louise Kylie's is casting 10 projects. A lot of them are under NDA. No one will know. It's still your responsibility to reach out and say, hey, here I am, I exist, here's a piece of my work that I'm really proud of, and here's what I'm after right now. And if that's your first job, then explicitly say, look, I'm after my first job, would love to be seen for absolutely anything. You can check out the press sites for all of the channels, ITV, BBC, Channel 4, Sky, Channel 5, Amazon, Netflix. You can look at their press sites. If you just Google Netflix press, ITV press, you can see what's been commissioned. Sometimes they'll tell you who's on board casting, sometimes they won't. But ultimately, don't overthink that and procrastinate. Your goal is still to let everyone in this industry know you exist or not, regardless of what you think they may or may not be casting. Because at some point, as long as there's 200 top casting directors. If you're emailing those ones, then they're the people that will be casting stuff at some point that I'm sure you will fit into. And if you don't know who they are, if you get an annual membership to Act On This, we will give you the Ultimate Contacts database for free, and you'll save £51 a year on your membership. And we'll tell you who the top casting directors are. Not only tell you, we'll give you all their email addresses as well. That's part of the database. So get involved, but yeah, don't worry about that too much. You'll never know, ultimately, is the answer to that. But the more you're around with other people, as we said, a community, sometimes you'll hear via word of mouth what's going on as well.
The more you know, the more you grow.
The more you know, not involved, actually, you just made that up. The more you know,
it sounded good.
The more you know, the more you know, the more you grow.
Do you reckon it can be like a quote? Do you reckon like people quote now? The more you know, the more you grow. Petch.
Petch 2025. Yeah, get that on your Instagram, folks. Definitely. Right, I'm going to play. Do you know what? I'm going to play a trailer out for Simon Pereira-Hines session that we've not played out yet. I've not even published this. This was the week before we had Simon Pereira-Hines, another top TV casting director on. The full 2-hour session. Oh no, just over an hour and a half actually. Is in the members area right now if you get membership. But we'll finish on this one because we played Karen's out before. But thank you, folks. Love to everybody. Hopefully these have been useful for you. actonthis.tv/mindset to get your free place on the mindset coaching next Saturday. And we'll catch up with you very, very soon. Until then, Petch, you know what time it is. 3, 2, 1.
Bye for now.
Oh, God, I think that was in sync. Right, take us off the screen. Check this out. See you in a bit. Bye for now. Her casting credits include the Emmy-nominated smash hit Outlander, BBC dramas Granite Harbour and Float, upcoming BBC thriller The Island, and upcoming Outlander prequel Blood of My Blood. It's casting director Simon Pereira-Hines back on Act On This. Simon, good evening. How are you?
Pretty good.
Tonight, we're going to dive deep into your casting process. We're going to discover how you co-cast projects with other casting directors too. We're going to learn exactly how to get on your casting radar for upcoming auditions, and we're going to do as much live Q&A as we can. Guess what dropped 2 hours ago? Blood of My Blood, the first teaser.
Without you, I am adrift.
Outlander has been immensely successful.
Huge.
Blood of My Blood is now the prequel to Outlander, so it's the how did Jamie and Claire come to be?
You and Suzanne, like you say, have worked together for many years on Outlander. You and Anna Dawson, who was your casting assistant, then casting associate, and now as a casting director, you work together.
Obviously, Anna and I work in the same office, so we're literally talking across the room to each other and thrashing through ideas together. Whereas Suzanne and I on Outlander, she's doing the casting in London, I'm doing the casting in Scotland.
Granite Harbour, starring our very own Michelle Jerram, just at the end there as DS Monty Montrose.
We are always looking for new people. Always, always, always. It's not as though we have this kind of closed mind. We're always looking for fresh blood, let's put it that way.
Everyone here wants to get on your casting radar for future auditions. So let's look at emails, getting them right. And as I said before, we'll give someone's email address out at the end of this broadcast.
Make it easy for casting directors to go straight to who you are and get to the point.
What is your taste in reels? What's useful for you?
If you've got a choice of material to put on a reel, then it's great to see different accents, different looks, whatever, but that's something you get to further down the line, I would say. Every audition is an opportunity. Make sure you see the audition as the job.